All right, here we go. We are live. Sorry about that. I just tried a second ago, but the audio was not set on, so I'm still learning this new laptop and this new program, so bear with me. But my name is Chris, and this is We Love Comics, and I am going to be showing the comics, all graded by the way, to make it easier for everybody, that I am willing to trade to be able to acquire any one of the comics you're about to see on the screen. And of course, it's not showing them. So, of course. Alright, so I'll just mention them because for some reason it's disappeared. Oh, God. Alright, so I'm looking for comics, like for example, Batman #2, Wonder Woman #1, Journey into Mystery #83, Tales of Suspense #39, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, the first print, All-Star Comics #8, Showcase #4, comics like that. So I apologize that it's not on the screen anymore. Apparently when you shut it off, everything pretty much disappears. So I cannot show the comics that I want to have on there, but I can at least talk about it. But this is still on there, so let's give a shout out to my Patreon members. If you want to be a Patreon member and help support my channel, you can go to patreon.com/WeLoveComics, and as you can see on the screen, no spaces. But what I do is, anybody that is a Patreon member, for as long as they're a Patreon member, every video I do a shout out. Now, I can either use a partial part of your name, because I'm not going to give out somebody's full name on the internet. So I will do either a partial name, or you could see like the last person. If you have a social network you'd like me to list instead, or a YouTube channel, or an eBay or Amazon store, just contact me, peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com, and let me know, and I have no problem with doing that. So shout out to Carl, Sith, Scott, Michael B., Kevin W., James R., and if you have Instagram, check out Silver Age Surfer _comics and tell him We Love Comics sent you, because he does message me every time that somebody joins his Instagram, so he's very happy about it. Go support him if you can. But like I said, there is no minimum requirement to get this. So the minimum, I think, to join any Patreon is like $2 a month. So for $2 a month, you can get a shout out, and I will shout out your YouTube channel or anything else. No problem. You just got to let me know, because I won't, be able to know unless you tell me. And I'll put you up there for as long as you are a Patreon member. So with that being said, let me first thank some of the people that are here. We got the Everyday Non-Expert. Welcome. Bronze Page Comics. Good to see you. James Logan. Mighty Comics and Collectibles, who does have some Mighty Comics and Collectibles. I will always admit that. Says, what's up? And then we got Supra Mars. I don't think I've ever seen you here before. If I said that wrong, please forgive me. But welcome. There we go. We got the video camera on. So I'm going to show all the comics. Now, I made sure they're all graded. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to show probably about 30 to 40 different graded comics. These are not the only comics I am going to be willing to trade. I just don't want to show my entire collection, because then it's going to be just take forever. So if you've seen any of my videos, and if you haven't, I hope you will check them. You can, some of the better ones, you could check my top 50 comics, my top 25, things like that. I have different videos over the years. Anything is at least on the table for suggestion. Now, I'm looking to acquire, like I said, key comics that I mentioned. I wish I could show it, but it's live now, and that's live. You can't do anything about it. So I would prefer a graded comic, so this way I don't have to worry. The reason I want to do a trade is, number one, I do not have the cash to be buying, like, for example, Wonder Woman #1 right now. But I want to show my viewers that you don't need cash to get the things you love. You just have to have determination, will, and comics to trade. Now, I'm also willing to trade anything that you see up here. Like, I have original Star Wars toys, original action figures, things like that. And I can even show in another video, because I actually got another box of stuff, but since my last video, I think didn't even break 200 views, I figured people don't want to see it. I can show some of the things I got in another video for those who care, but like I said, most people don't. Any comic or anything on here is up for grabs, you can at least ask. Because if, like for example, my Star Wars toys, I just don't love Star Wars anymore. They've destroyed it for me. So for me, if it makes somebody else happy, and there are some with value, if you think adding one of the figures can make a trade happen, I'm willing to do it. So let's start with, I'm going to start with the quote-unquote worst comics and then go up. So it's going to get better as we go. So if you know anybody that wants to do a trade, or if you're somebody that wants to do a trade, please contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com, and let's make something happen. Basically, all you have to do is, once we make an agreement, you mail out the comic to me, and what I recommend, this is what I want somebody to do. Mail it overnight delivery with signature verification, not just signature, but when you have to fill out that green card, because then they physically have to have you sign it. Because I've had people send payments or things with signature series, and they just leave it at your door. So I want to make sure you're protected and I'm protected. So once I get the comic, I'm going to do a live video so they can show that it arrived and people know what's going on. Unless you give me permission, I will not show the comics I'm willing to trade to you, because the person might want to do a video. If they're not going to do a video, or they don't care, I'll show the comics that they're trading for, and I'll do the same thing, mail it out overnight, send it with the signature verification, and it's a good way to save on taxes, keep the government out of our business, because you can see how governments all around the world are basically trying to screw us all. And it's a way to, especially if you're somebody that has an Amazing Fantasy 15, which is another comic I forgot to mention that I would love to acquire. If you happen to have 2 copies and you have a lower grade one, even if it's a 0.5, and some of these comics, and it takes 5 or 6 or 7 of them to make it happen, contact me. Let's make a deal. So that's why I always tell people, get multiple copies of books. Because a lot of these I have multiple copies of, but not every one. Some of these you're about to see near the end. There's one comic in particular that is rarer than Batman #1, Wonder Woman #1, and Superman #1. So, for me to get a Grail, sometimes you got to trade Grails, and sometimes a combination of comics might be worth it. I had one person since October contact me to do a trade. I did not feel it was balanced and fair on my end. And that happens, you know, somebody's going to try and get the most they can. But I am willing to overspend a little bit, but not to the point where I'm going to be out thousands of dollars. So I want to make sure a trade is mutually beneficial. So with that being said, let's start with the quote-unquote worst comic, and then we'll go from there. Now, I'm not going to go into full detail because I don't want this to be a 2-hour video. So I'm just going to mention the comic, and then if somebody's interested, I can go into further detail. But the first one we have is Justice League of America #1. This is a CBCS graded comic. This is a 1.5. Now, this is a book I bought already graded, so I do not know if it was ever pressed or could be benefiting from a press. But the worst comic I'm willing to trade, and like I said, any comic is up for grabs. It's a 1.5 Justice League of America #1 with off-white pages. Alright, next up, we got, for the CGC lovers out there, we have Amazing Spider-Man #121, which is the quote-unquote death of Gwen Stacy at a CGC 6.0, off-white to white pages. Again, I'm not going to go into major detail, I just want to show these so we keep it as low as possible. Next up, this is a book that's going to be on the rise because the X-Men are coming. This is X-Men #129, first appearance of Kitty Pride and Emma Frost. This is a PGX 8.0. It is a newsstand edition, so a little bit rarer, but not a mega rare book, and an 8.0 with off-white to white pages. I believe, unless there's one that's different, I believe all of the books that are PGX were all bought from me raw and graded by me. So you can guarantee that, for example, if it's supposed to have, like, for example, a Marvel value stamp, it's in there. So you don't have to worry. This is another CGC book. This one I bought already graded. So again, I do not know if a pressing has been done or pressing could improve it. But here we have Daredevil number 168, which is the first appearance and origin of Elektra in a CGC 7.0. It has off-white to white pages. Next up, another CGC book. So you can see I'm not exclusively just going to be, offering a just nothing but PGX, because there are people who just may not like them. And also, by the way, any of these books, I would also be willing to sell to anybody if somebody wanted to make an offer. Now, I'm only at this time looking for either cash deals or money orders. But any of these possibly could be available for sale if you want to make an offer. Again, you can contact me at peacefulfeelings.com, at yahoo.com. Now, how can you have 121 without 122, which is the death, quote-unquote, of Green Goblin? This is another CGC book, higher grades, 7.5, off-white to white pages. Again, I bought that one already graded, so I do not know if it's been pressed or if a pressing would improve it. The majority of CGC books I bought already graded. There are some exceptions, because back in 2016 or 2017, I did send a bunch of books to CGC. So if I don't remember if any of them are in here, but if they are, I will give full disclosures. Another CGC book, another book I bought already graded. So again, and I'm going to keep saying it, I don't know if it's been pressed, and I don't know if a pressing would help it. But this, of course, is Amazing Spider-Man, number 46. First appearance of the Shocker. Mid-grade book. CGC 5.0. Off-white to white pages. And, of course, some of these bags, as you can see, look pretty bad. They will be exchanged. I'm just keeping them in there for now. Next up, another CGC book. Another book I already bought graded. So, again, do not know if it's ever been pressed or could be improved by it. But this is a higher grade version. We got Amazing Spider-Man number 194, first appearance of the Black Cat. Again, CGC book. This is an 8.5 with white pages. Again, I'm just going to show the front of the book. I'll go into detail with somebody if they want me to do, a deeper dive with them if they're interested in a trade. All right, next up. This is another CGC book. Again, do not, especially with these days, you never know. But I bought it already graded. Don't know if it's been pressed or do not know if a pressing will help it. Daredevil number 181. That is the death of Elektra. We got a CGC 9.8. So these days, you guys know CGC is basically giving away 9.9s and 10s. Could this be sent in and get a 9.9 or a 10? Only the employees of CGC can answer that question. But it does have white pages. This is never, as far as I know, has been pressed or dry cleaned, at least not by me. And is a book available for trade. Or again, I'm willing to at least listen if anybody is willing to make an offer on them. Next up, this is a book that most people do not have. Now, this is Civil War number 1. This is the Michael Turner Aspen variant. It's been signed by the late, great Michael Turner and Steve McNiven. This is a CGC yellow label, 9.9, but this was purchased years ago. So this is back when getting a 9.9 meant the book was extra special and not just the flavor of the month that you're seeing right now. White Pages. So this is a very rare book. Willing to trade. Michael Turner's deceased. Can't get his signature anymore. You definitely can't get it with a yellow label. Got Steve McNiven. It is a witnessed signature at a 9.9. Willing to trade that or possibly have an offer for sale. All right. This particular one is a CGC graded book, but it was graded by me. I sent it in to get graded. This was before I even knew a pressing or a dry cleaning was ever a thing. But I'm willing to trade or potentially sell Edge of Spider-Verse #2, the first print, never been pressed, never been dry cleaned, CGC 9.8, with white pages. Of course, first appearance of Spider-Gwen. Just imagine what this book is going to do when she gets into the live action in the MCU. I have a couple of copies, so I'm willing to trade or sell one of them. All right. Movies coming up. This should be a no-brainer. This was bought, already graded by CGC, so I'll keep mentioning it. Do not know if it was pressed. Do not know if a pressing would help it. But this, of course, is Hulk number 180. First cameo appearance, but first appearance ever of Wolverine. CGC 6.0. It has the Marvel stamp, but I cannot verify that because I didn't grade this book. So is it in there? Probably. Could it not be there? And it could be one of the CGC things? I don't know, but I'm at least going to mention. It's a 6.0 CGC, cream to off-white pages. So like I said, and these are just some of the worst ones. You haven't seen the really good ones I'm willing to trade or sell yet. So like I said, for me to get an Amazing Fantasy 15, a Wonder Woman #1, an All-Star Comics #8, a Batman #2, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 first print, Journey into Mystery 83, Tales of Suspense number 39. You gotta offer what people want. I'm not gonna sell, trade $10,000 books for one of those. No one will ever do it. Next up, again, movie's going to be coming in another year or so. This is a CGC book. I bought this already graded, so I do not know if it ever had a pressing, and I do not know if a pressing would help it. But this, of course, is Fantastic Four number 49. It is the first full appearance of Galactus, second appearance of Silver Surfer. This is considered a iconic cover, and first time they are on the cover together. It is a CGC 5.0, so it is a mid-grade book. It has off-white pages, but again, I bought it already graded, so the pressing could help it. Next up, movie's gonna be coming out. This is one of the rare, I can't say incredibly rare, but at least in high grade. This is a book I graded myself. It is a PGX. We got Venom #1, Lethal Protector. As you can see, it is the gold foil edition, which is one of 11,000 printed. This is a PGX 9.8 with white pages. So that's a modern big boy book that I am willing to either trade or possibly sell if somebody wants to make an offer I cannot refuse. And again, if somebody wants to purchase any of these and they make an offer, payment plans are available, where if any book or combination of books totals $599 or up, I'm willing to give a 4-month payment plan. People that have ordered from me before, if they need another month or two, I'm willing to make that kind of situation with them. But contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. Next up, again, this is a no-brainer. I have many of these books. I still haven't graded all of them, I believe. But to me, this is another no-brainer. X-Men number 94. Not the first appearance of the X-Men, but the first X in the X-Men title. Second full appearance of Wolverine, because remember, there's a couple of cameos, like 180, 182, and Giant Size X-Men #1. So this actually, yeah, it's either his second or third full appearance. But this is a 6.0. Now, it is restored because it does have some minor color touch. I do not know where it is, but I can tell, this is what I tell people. If it's something, because for some reason, if a kid took a magic marker or a yellow whatever to color something in a little bit, all you have to do is rip that little piece out, and it's no longer restored. I did it with a Batman 59, and it was no longer restored because I ripped off the small little piece. Now, it did lower it, I think, from a 3.5 to a 3.0, but better to have a 3.0 unrestored than a 3.5 restored. But full disclosure, 6.0 off-white to white pages. Minor color touch means somewhere along on this cover, there's a little bit of a coloring. I can't find it, but if you can find it, you literally rip that out, because it's minor, so it'll be a small little spot, and you just resubmit it, and it's no longer restored. So, another key book with the X-Men coming to the MCU. All right, now we're starting to get some of the big boy books. In low grade, this book sells for multiple hundreds of dollars, if not in the thousands. This is a CGC book I bought already graded. So again, do not know if it was ever pressed. Do not know if a pressing will improve the grade. But this, of course, is Amazing Spider-Man #6, first appearance of the Lizard, CGC 6.0. Off-white pages. So again, I bought this already graded, so would a resubmit with a pressing and dry cleaning give a better grade? Who knows? CGC tends to be very generous these days. Next up, this is a no-brainer for me, or for you. Amazing Spider-Man #50, first appearance of the Kingpin. This is a book I sent in to get graded myself. Like I said, unless there's an exception, and I don't believe there is, any PGX book was bought from me raw, verified before I sent it in, and sent in to be graded. So these were all, as far as I know, pressed and dry cleaned. Now, if they forgot or something, I don't know. Or if another pressing can improve it, again, I do not know. But first appearance of the Kingpin, we got a PGX 4.0 off-white to white pages. Another iconic cover. All right, let's get into some Golden Age. I got Batman issue number 19. This is the first ever Dick Sprang art. The staples have been replaced. Now, you can take the staples out. Then you no longer have that problem. This is a book I sent in to get graded myself. Is complete. Take out the staples if you don't want the staples, because it's a 2.5. So if you take the staples out, I don't believe it's going to lower the grade anymore. And it will no longer mention staples replaced. Now, when I bought this, I didn't know that, but honestly, I don't care about staples. To me, it has really nothing to do with the comic. But a 2.5, Batman #19 from 1943. It does have a Joker appearance, and it does mention first Batman art by Dick Sprang, light tan to white pages. They get better, trust me. All right, next up. This one should be a no-brainer. Now, this is a book. It's a CGC book. I bought it already graded. Don't know if it was pressed. Don't know if a pressing can help improve it. We got Amazing Spider-Man #252. First appearance of the black symbiote suit, which no one knew at the time was a symbiotic suit until Secret Wars #8. CGC 9.8. White pages. Again, I'm willing to sell some bigger boy books. You know, eventually, certain character in the MCU is going to be acquiring the symbiotic suit. What do you think is going to happen to this book? Now, could you resubmit it to CGC and get a 9.9 or a 10? Who knows? I'm not going to guarantee it. But these days, that's not impossible. Willing to trade or sell. I actually have 3 copies of this book. So even though they haven't had this character in a movie, which I think is a shame, it's a DC book. This is a CGC book. Already bought graded. Do not know if it was pressed or if pressing can help it. But we've got Action Comics number 242. First appearance of Brainiac. CGC 2.0. Off-white pages. I mean, to me, this is a no-brainer. I love when they did the video games where he was the villain. If they made a movie like that, that movie would be awesome. You know, Warner Brothers really needs to look at the video games they've done to see how to do characters. I love the version they did of Brainiac in the Injustice video games. To me, this is a no-brainer book. Again, I do not know if a pressing has happened or a pressing will improve it. All right, let's get into another Golden Age book. Now, it says it has an extra staple. Just remove the extra staple. There's an extra staple for some reason right there. Take it out, it no longer has that. Okay, but this is a book I bought already graded. I might crack this open if no one wants it. I don't see why you wouldn't. But this is Superman number 5. CGC 1.8. Slightly brittle pages. Full page ad for Batman number 1 and All-Star Comics number 1. This was in 1940. So again, for some reason, somebody graded it, and they didn't say, hey, I should take that staple out. All you have to do is remove that staple, if it matters to you, and there's no longer an extra staple. But it is a CGC book, issue number 5 of Superman. But wait, there's more. There's another Superman book. This is Superman number 25. And you'll say, well, why would you put this one ahead of Superman number 5? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a CGC 7.0. High-grade Supermans, especially the early Supermans, not easy to come by. Definitely not cheap. It is light tan to off-white pages. This is a book I bought already graded. Do not know if it was ever pressed. Do not know if a pressing will help it. But this is a beautiful book. You're talking a book from 1943. 7.0. There are Bronze Age books you can't even get that grade. Alright, speaking of what I said earlier, I'm willing to trade this book. Or potentially sell it. Again, to sell a book, I'm only accepting either cash or money order. And especially for these larger books, payment plans are available. So you contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. So, another book. Batman number 59. I mentioned it before. This is the first appearance of Deadshot, ladies and gentlemen. It is a 2.5. Okay, so it was actually a 3.0 and it was reduced to a 2.5. Because there was a third staple, I just removed it. There is tape along the spine in the interior cover, but that's not restoration when it comes to tape. So, this is the first appearance of Deadshot. There is a Joker appearance in here. It seems like every Batman issue I ever bought always has a Joker appearance. So it's a 2.5, cream to white pages. Willing to trade. Or sell. If the price is right. Captain Crunch said, I think CGC has stopped notating extra staples. Who knows? But, I mean, if you remove the staple, then that takes it out of the equation. Alright, this to me is a no-brainer. It's a CGC book. It's a CGC book I bought already graded. And do not know if it's ever been pressed. Do not know if a pressing would increase the grade. But this is Amazing Spider-Man number 129. First appearance of the Jackal and the Punisher, who is going to be coming to the MCU. CGC 8.0. So we're talking higher grades. Off-white pages. Just imagine if you resubmit this and it comes back in 8.5 or a 9.0. Because like I said, I do not know if it was ever pressed or dry cleaned. All right, let's get back to the Golden Age books. This is a book. I love the history of this book. It's got creamed off-white pages. It's a book that I bought raw and sent in to get graded so I can verify its authenticity. This is a book that came out in 1948. This is Captain America. This is number 63. This is the quote-unquote controversial cover when Batman, that would be very controversial, but Captain America slaps Bucky on the cover. Back then, that was considered controversial. I love the fact, because of World War II, so that's actually 1943, I believe. I can't see it. My eyes are going. If somebody wants to look up Captain America Comics, number 65, it's in the 40s. But it only had one staple. That's not a defect. Back then, during the war, they were trying to save money. So they only used one staple on some of the comics. This is a PGX 2.0, creamed off-white pages. Again, trade the big boy books. Go look up early Captain America comics, even in low grade, and see how much they sell for. All right, so we got about probably another 10 comics left to go. If you like this, you can hit the thumbs up button. Really appreciate those that can at least let others know about this video by sharing the link, even if you don't have the ability to do a trade. But again, I'm looking for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, first print, Amazing Fantasy 15, first Spider-Man, Tales of Suspense, number 39, first Iron Man, Journey into Mystery 83, first Thor. I'm looking for Batman #2. I mean, I'd love to get Batman #1, but I don't even know if somebody'd be willing to trade a comic like that for some of these. I mean, I'll gladly listen if somebody has one. Wonder Woman #8. I'm sorry, Wonder Woman #1, All-Star Comics #8, Showcase #4. So those are the kind of comics I'm looking for, but let's continue. There's going to be multiple Avengers movies still coming, so these books are going to continue to go up and up and up. This is a book I bought raw, graded myself. This, of course, is Avengers #1, first appearance of the Avengers. You could see somebody clip this out at one point. It is a lower grade, but hey, low grade's better than no grade, and even in low grade, you're still talking thousands of dollars for these books. And they're going to, once the Avengers next movie comes out, what do you think is going to happen to the price? Is it going to go down? Is it going to stay the same, or do you think it's going to go up? I'll leave that for you to decide. But this is off-white to white pages. And again, first appearance and origin of the Avengers. If it wasn't for that... Oh, and also, the characters were cut out as well. So, full disclosure. But, you know, if you can only afford a lower grade comic, again, even in low grade, still worth money. Captain Crunch says, interesting, I didn't know about the single staple reason. Yeah, because basically in World War II, they were trying to save as much metal to use for the war. So that's why, for example, they had pennies that were steel instead of copper, because most metals were being used for the war. So there are comics where they only had one staple. There wasn't for every one of them, but certain ones did. So that Captain America one only has one staple, and that is not a defect. All right, now we're getting into the big boy range. This is an Alex Schomburg cover. If it weren't for the fact that the cover is detached, this book would be a 6.0 to 7.0. The highest a book can get from the Golden Age with a detached cover is a 4.0, and that's exactly what this is. Go see how expensive the higher numbered of these books are. You're talking in the thousands. Submariner, issue number 6, at the highest grade possible for a detached cover. I mean, this book is gorgeous. If it did not have a detached cover, this book would easily be a 6 to 7, maybe even higher. It is from 1942. It has an Alex Schomburg cover. Go look up Golden Age Alex Schomburg covers. These are not $50, $100 comics. These are $1,000 and up comics, especially when you're talking around mid-grade. Next up, only time I've ever owned this book, and there's no crack in the case. It's just the bag ripped. So again, if somebody wants these in a trade or wants to purchase them, I'll replace the bag, but I'm just leaving it in there. So there's a lot to this one, but this is Amazing Spider-Man #1. It is a 0.3 because it does have a facsimile cover. They do mention that the staples have been removed and the last 2 pages are missing, but it does not affect the story. So there is a complete story of Amazing Spider-Man #1. Now, if you were to look up how much a 1 page that's graded from CGC sells for, it sells between $500 and $1,500 just for 1 page. So this is a chance to get an affordable version, and you could literally, if you wanted to, make individual pages and sell it and make a poop ton of money. So even though it's a 0.3, it's a complete story with a facsimile cover. You still own Spider-Man #1 regardless of the grade. Next up, this one has a cracked case, but that was when it happened when I moved here from New York to Florida. So unfortunately in the moving process, it cracked a little bit. It basically just cracked over the grade. It's a CGC book, so basically you can get a reslab, and I'm sure, you know, they'll probably even give you a higher grade, who knows. But it was originally bought graded from CGC, so I do not know if it had a pressing, do not know if a pressing would help. But again, like I said, full disclosure, and I'll show it. But we got Amazing Spider-Man #14, first appearance of the Green Goblin, and only time he's riding his magic vacuum cleaner, because remember, in Amazing Spider-Man 17 is when he has his glider. So this is pre-glider. This is a CGC 3.0. Now you can see the crack is right here. And again, that happened when I moved here. So, full disclosure. Yeah, QB Boogie says, I hate moving. I don't hate moving. I hate the moving of the things to move. That was not fun. But this, of course, is the... it also is the first time the Hulk and Spider-Man meet, which is not a major thing. But, of course, first appearance of Green Goblin. It has off-white pages. So all you'd need is a reholder for this one because of that little crack, but I'm not going to not disclose it because I like to do things the correct way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more books. So they get better as we go. So again, if you like this, hit the like button, hit subscribe, share the link. All right, again, you got to be able to give big boy books to get big boy books. And again, all of these are also available for sale if anybody's interested. I'm only accepting either cash or money order, and you can do payment plans. But here we go. We got Invincible #1. This is the original first print. It is signed by Robert Kirkman. Now, this book, when I bought it, and there's the video, I don't remember when, but I bought this book. It was originally a CGC 9.8, but it was a green label because back then they did not do signature verification. So no one wanted it for some reason. I thought it was a no-brainer. So I bought the CGC 9.8 with the green label, cracked it open, sent it to PGX, still got the 9.8, but now has the verified signature signed by Robert Kirkman. Now, CGC now does verified signatures. So if you want, you could send it back to CGC, and unless it gets damaged in the mail, and I always make sure to tell people, if you're going to mail something, it can get damaged, so make sure you mail it securely. This originally was a CGC 9.8 green label. So it maintained the 9.8, but now has the verified signature. Go look up what a regular 9.8 unsigned sells for. Signed by Robert Kirkman. There's going to be another season of Invincible. they're probably not going to stop it for a while. Next up, I actually have 2 copies of this. This one actually has a facsimile front cover and a wrong back cover. I bought this one already graded by CGC. Fantastic Four #1. First appearance of the Fantastic Four. It is a purple label. It is a 0.5. And I will go over the issues. Restoration includes back cover, reattached with glue, but it's the wrong cover. Front cover is a color copy, and it does say wrong back cover. But go look up what a 0.5 restored CGC Fantastic Four #1 sells for. If you think you could buy this for $500, you're crazy. If you think you could buy this for $1,000, you are crazy. Go look up what these are selling for. Willing to trade or sell it for the right comic. Still more to go. Journey into Mystery, number 85. This is a book I bought raw, verified the insides myself, sent it in to get graded. This, of course, is not only the first appearance of Loki, it's also the cameo first appearance of Odin. It is also the first appearance of Asgard, and also the first appearance of Heimdall, the keeper of the Rainbow Bridge and the seer of all. So there's multiple first appearances in this. We got a PGX 4.0, respectable grade for this book. Again, go look at what the prices are. So it does mention the first appearance of Loki, Heimdall, Asgard, and first appearance of Odin in a cameo. Stan Lee, it's Steve Ditko art, Jack Kirby cover, and Stan Lee story. I mean, you got the trifecta there. Off-white pages. These books are not cheap, ladies and gentlemen. But like I say, you got to trade big to get big. And I'm not going to get any of those books without selling some good stuff. Now this one, I bought raw. I ended up, went to get this graded, but PGX cannot do larger size because they do not have the cases, but they still graded it and put it in their inner lining with the grade. So it is a graded version. It is restored with moderate color touch, but when you see the book, you're not really going to care. Certain books, you don't really care because it's going to make it just that much more affordable. We got World's Finest, #2. Now, this is technically World's Finest #1 because issue #1 was called World's Best Comics. They changed it in issue #2 to World's Finest, which is where it stayed for the entire run. So this is the first appearance of World's Finest Comics. It is graded a 3.5. Again, it does have some moderate color touch. We got cream to white pages. It does have tape on the cover and interior. A piece missing at the bottom of the spine. Which, of course, you know, you're going to have stuff like that in lower grade. But this book came out in 1941. Fred Ray cover. It does mention first issue, formerly World's Best. This is a big boy book, ladies and gentlemen. Not many of them out there. Willing to trade it. Next up. Again, no brainer. This is a book I bought raw. I can verify that the Marvel value stamp is in this book because I got it graded myself, and I'm not about to send in a book without checking. Hulk 181. This is the first full appearance and the most desirable of the Wolverine books because he's on the cover and he's in the whole story. Now, of course, without 180, you cannot have 181, but again, the market's going to dictate what has value and what has, you know, either more or less value. PGX 5.0, mid-grade book, but you're talking thousands of dollars for this book. off-white to white pages. Just imagine if the Deadpool Wolverine movie does as well as many people are predicting. And also, ladies and gentlemen, remember, Hugh Jackman is not done after this Wolverine movie. They've already said he's going to be in the Secret Wars movie. So, what do you think's going to happen to Wolverine? And then they're just going to reboot it with another character. Hopefully it will be a male character. Alright, last two books. This book was already bought by me, graded, from CGC. So I do not know if it was pressed or dry cleaned. And I do not know if a pressing or dry clean is going to help improve this book. But it can. This book is rarer than Batman #1, rarer than Superman #1, and rarer than Wonder Woman #1. This ain't a low-grade book. We have Special Edition Comics #1. This predates the Captain Marvel series. Now, this isn't his first appearance, but this is his first ever solo comic. This is a CGC 6.0. First book dedicated to Captain Marvel. Predates Captain Marvel's Adventures #1. This came out in August of 1940, cream to off-white pages. Again, I bought this already graded. A pressing and dry cleaning could be possible to bring it up even higher. You're talking a 6.0 from 1940. Good luck finding books like this. Not a cheap book. If somebody offered me $2,000 for it, I would say thank you, but I'm not interested. Unfortunately, there was somebody that wanted to do a trade, and they could not find a higher grade, so they compared it to a 3.0, which was on sale for about $2,500. When you're talking a rare book, and you're talking a Golden Age book, the difference between a 3.0 and a 6.0 on a book rarer than Batman #1, Superman #1, and Wonder Woman #1 is going to increase dramatically in price. So to compare a 3.0 to a 6.0 is what the deal was broken for with me. Last up, the Big Boy book. Now, it is a restored book, but it doesn't really matter. Not many people own this book or will ever have the opportunity to own this book. If I can use this book to do a trade, I'm willing to do it. Superman #2. When I bought this raw, and you can see it's a 4.0. When I bought this, I was told by the seller, who was not the original owner, that they believed this to be a facsimile cover. I still have the video up to this day. It was back when I was living in New York, so it has to be at least 6 years old or so. But when I opened this, when I did the unboxing of this book, I said to myself back then, if this is a facsimile cover, it's one hell of a facsimile cover. Ends up, it is the original cover. The reason that they thought it was a facsimile is because somebody colored it in with highlighter in the yellow. It was the best moment of my life when I got this grade, because I thought it was going to come back a 0.5 because of it having a facsimile cover. Found out it's a real cover. So the person who had it did not know what they had. They made a wrong assumption. It's got tan to off-white pages. So the spine has been rebuilt. Extensive color touch. Reglossed and cover trimmed. But again, go look up what a restored 0.5 of this book sells for on eBay. You're talking for a restored 0.5. Good luck finding it under $2,500. 4.0. willing to trade it or sell it if somebody makes me an offer. So, I am literally selling key books to get key books. I have stated, and I'll state again, I am willing to overtrade if I have to get one of my grails. I'm not going to overtrade to the point where I'm going to lose out $5,000, $10,000. I don't need a book that bad, and that's the thing. I want to do a trade, but I don't need to do a trade. So unless the trade is fair on both sides, I can easily walk away, even if it's a book I want. So you now see some of the books. Now, like I said, if you're interested in acquiring either for sale, to purchase, or for a trade, this is my original Darth Vader number one from from Star Wars, the original 12-back. Now, I always give full disclosure on this. The card, it looks in really good shape because they probably had it in this case for God knows how long. I bought this probably 10, 15 years ago. But whoever owned it before me, at some point, they probably put it where they're somewhere in sunlight because the front is a little faded and this is all yellowed, the plastic. And you could see it's a lot darker color on the other side because, of course, no one's going to show the backside. You know, never show your backside to the sun. But I give full disclosure. So if somebody wanted to add that to do the trade, or here is my original Empire Strikes Back AT-AT Commander. Now, this one, unfortunately, when my mother sent it to me, it was shipped poorly, and there's a crack because this is becoming a little brittle. So it's in a case now, or it's been in a case. Here's one that I just got recently. Unfortunately, it got not destroyed in the shipment, but the whole bottom got crushed. This is a rarer one. This is Return of the Jedi. What is it? Re-Yeez? But the whole bottom, I taped it so it wouldn't fall out, but the whole bottom got crushed because my mother mailed one of my PlayStation 3s and put this right beside it, so it smashed into it. But nothing's missing out of it. Still has the gun, as you could see, but the bottom got ruined. But if any of the toys or something you see here or something you've seen in a video is something you'd be interested in, either via trade or purchase from me, contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. I would love to get that going. Now, unfortunately, it was supposed to show right here all the things that I would be looking to get. But like I said, and I'll put it on the Patreon member thing. Again, if you want to join my Patreon and help support my channel, you can go to patreon.com/WeLoveComics. And as you can see here, I will mention your name or your Instagram or your Facebook page or your YouTube channel every video, as long as you're a Patreon, that I do. Again, there is no requirement. The minimum to do for anybody on Patreon is $2 a month. So if you want to do the minimum, perfectly fine. But it helps support my channel and helps me feed the between 15 and 25 stray cats, because it depends on any given day. Some don't always show up all the time, but at least 15 of them do every time. It's to help to support my channel. So again, I'm looking for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, first print. I'm looking for Amazing Fantasy #15. I'm looking for Batman, either 1 or 2. I'm not going to complain. Superman #1, I'd love to have. If it took all of those books to get not a 0.5 Superman #1, but at least a 1.0, I would be willing to at least consider it. But I'm also looking for Wonder Woman #1, All-Star Comics #8, Showcase #4, Tales of Suspense #39, Journey into Mystery #83, and maybe something that you might have that I haven't thought about. That's a major key. Again, any of those books that you saw can also be for sale if you want to make an offer. Again, I'm only looking for either cash or money order. I've had many people do it, and they will disclose that I will mail out your books well protected. I will mail them out right away, and you will always get what you've purchased. And again, any comic total of $599 or more, I would be willing to do a 4-month payment plan with no interest. So that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. I would love to hear what you have to say. I would love to do a trade with somebody. Let's make this happen. I want to show my viewers that, you know, I'm not going to give up on this. If it takes me 5 years, I'm going to do this for 5 years. I'm going to make this happen. I want to show my viewers that if you don't give up and you're persistent and consistent and, you know, you're willing to trade something to get something, you can avoid paying taxes because there are no taxes on trades. You can keep governments out of our own business, and you can actually acquire something without spending a dime other than what it costs to ship it to somebody. So contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. Join my Patreon and help support my channel if you can, and get your name or your YouTube channel or your eBay store or Amazon store or your social network, and have that listed every video I do. So let's do today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. I always pick 2 of them. We're going to go with Peter Bishop and QB Boogie. Both of you are today's surprise subscriber shoutouts, which means when this video uploads, in the comments section, you can put a link to either a YouTube video or YouTube channel of yours. You can either do a link to one of your social networks, or you can do a link to one of your eBay, Amazon, or Etsy, or whatever sales. I'll leave it up to you which link you can post in the comments section. Now, it doesn't have to be comic book related, but comic book related links are going to do best. I highly recommend don't just post a link. Introduce yourself. Tell people where the link is going to take them. Because if you just post a link, 99.9% of the people are probably never even going to even think about clicking it, let alone click it. So introduce yourself. Be friendly. The more you put the effort in, the more reward you're going to get out. You do the minimum, don't be surprised you get the minimum. So to shout out our shout outs, keep in mind that any link will automatically go to spam, because I have to keep any trolls or anybody putting inappropriate information on my channel. So I am not going to support any troll channels. I'm not going to support any adult content. I need stuff that's suitable for all audiences. So if you browse the comment section, and I hope you do because I don't get a lot of comments on my videos, if you see a link, it means it has been approved by me, and it will take you somewhere that is appropriate and suitable for all ages. Go click on them and go help out and support our fellow comic book community. So that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks for watching. I'd love to hear what you have to think. Sorry about not being able to show on the screen about all of the comics I'm willing to, what I'm looking for, but unfortunately it's just not showing up, and it's locked for some strange reason. Let me see if I can, you know what? Let me see something really quick. Give me a second. Why is it locked? Give me a second. Let me see if there is something. Yeah, for some reason it's locked. I apologize. There's nothing I can do about that. So let me know what you think about the AI art. I'd love to do a trade with you. Hopefully you'll contact me. And if you want to purchase any of these, you can make me an offer. Just make sure you look up the prices. I mean, I could definitely use the money, but I'm not going to just give something away. I want it to be fair. I am even willing to go a little bit under its value. But as you can see, many of these comics are going to keep increasing in value. So I'm not selling garbage. You got to get good stuff. You got to give good stuff. So let's make something happen. Thanks for watching. And again, any other comic or anything you see in any video I've ever done, you can at least mention. And the worst I could say is, that one's not for sale, or that one is not something I'd be willing to trade. But don't be afraid to ask. So thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Give our shout-outs a shout-out. And don't forget, it's not you. It is not I. It is We Love Comics. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered.